And if they fulfill and stay focused on that dream, the same way I had a dream to be councilman, this young man one day may be councilman. Or some may go on to be doctors. But at the end of the day, we've got to give our young men and our young women in our communities and in our neighborhood hope. And that's what this young man is talking about. And that's what I've tried to do for the last 9.5 years as councilman of Ward 3.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. And now we will have opening remarks from Ms. Henley.
Good afternoon, City Club and members of Ward 2. My name is Annaliesa Henley, and I am proud to sit before you as a candidate for Ward 2 Cleveland City Council. My campaign has been and is still about the residents of Ward 2 and the upward progress of the Ward 2 community and Cleveland as a whole. Ward 2 and the community will not progress if we do not place the schools and the education of our children first and foremost, also in concert with the redevelopment and the rebuilding of Ward 2, and again, the rebuilding of Cleveland as a whole. Ward 2 senior citizens are the ones who have stayed and invested in the John Adams and Miles Avenue neighborhoods and many more neighborhoods throughout Ward 2. And most of Ward 2 residents have maintained their homes and their property for a long time. They have stayed in Ward 2 community because it is their community. Ward 2 residents should be able to relax in peace and solitude. Ward 2 residents should be able to shop in their community at stores that provide the necessary products that they need, like drugstores and health facilities. They should be able to sit quietly on their porch and relax and not have to look at abandoned homes and property and yards that are not kept up to code or standard. The youth should be able to attend quality, safe, and secure schools that provide them with a quality education. Ward 2 can and will attain all that is possible within Ward 2. I, Annaliesa Henley, will bring all of that to Ward 2 and more. It is time out for business as usual, and it is time for unusual business. Annaliesa Henley, your candidate for Ward 2. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Henley. And now we will have opening remarks from Mr. King.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eric King. I'd like to also thank the audience for inviting, or for the City Club for inviting me, as well as the audience for attending. This is truly an honor for me. I've watched the City Club on television. I've also listened to it on the radio. I'm running for City Council Ward 2 because when I grew up in the ward, first of all. I'm a product of the ward. I went to the schools, Paul Revere, Nathan Hale, and I went to John Adams. I love the community, all my friends, all the people, my neighbors. I come from a little bit of a political background with my family. My grandfather was Earl Leisure, who was the safety coordinator for all the mayors from Carl Stokes all the way up to Mike White. I also had a grandmother who was very involved in our neighborhood and in the street clubs, and so I had a civic insight that I carried around with me as a young person. I moved away. I went to college. I'm at Cleveland State right now. When I returned to come home to the ward that I grew up in, I was shocked. I knew it wasn't as like a suburb, but I didn't think it was as bad as it was. To find no grocery store in the whole ward, to find no food shop in the whole ward of a chain, to find no bank in the entire ward. It really inspired me to do something that I said, we've got to make some changes around here. I had no idea it was that bad. So I'm proud to be a product of the ward, but now it's time to move forward. I want to be the councilman because I know I can make a difference in this. I have a business background. I ran my own Dairy Queen for years. I'm still working now as managing different restaurants, but I have a business background that's going to lead us into the next forum for the new Ward 2. Ward 2 has been forgotten about. Ward 2 has been neglected. And so we face a new Ward 2 that is in dire need. It's on life support. With crime at its highest peak, the jobs are at their lowest, and there's no development. So it seems like there's no life going in the ward. And so my objective and my vision for the ward is to bring some life into the ward. We do have to work on education, and we do have to work on some community involvement, but first what we have to do is set the tone, and we have to create an environment where those things can actually take place. And the way you do that is you get to empower the people. When I go around on my campaign trail and I walk on the porches and they begin to tell me some of the stories, they said, you know, I can't wait for wintertime. And I said, well, who says that? He says, I can't wait for wintertime because then all the drug dealing will slow down. My kids will be able to be more at peace in the winter. The summertime, I hate it, he says, because people are riding around with their doors open, going down the street at sometimes 50 miles an hour on a 25-mile-an-hour zone. And so my objective is to set an atmosphere and a tone for our ward and for our community where you can have job creation, reduction of crime, and business development. Eric King for Ward 2.
Thank you, Mr. King. And we will now have opening remarks from Mr. Owens.
Thank you very much. 10/25/2009, there was an article in the paper concerning Stan Owens in 1993. So I would love to start off with an apology to the Perry family. The article read such, there was a loss of life, described as young and wild at the time, youthful indiscretion. Definitely an apology for that, because a loss of life is definitely greater than that, and I would love a moment of silence for the Perry family for that article. Thank you. Stan Owens, 33 years old, commercial driver, homeowner, business owner, alumnus, University of Findlay. I'm running for council because there's definitely something to prove. Merit. Can an ex-offender not only win the heart of the people, but also hold, occupy, and master an office of trust and honor? May 27, 2009, the Transportation Security Agency, Department of Homeland Security, certified Stan Owens as a hazardous material waste hauler. Okay? Flammables, explosive, corrosive. Very things that can definitely do damage to the public as a whole. Okay? Something that I consider to be bigger, if you will, than Ward 2. Okay? So that's just an accomplishment since 1993 that I'm very proud of and eager to share that with you. I'm running for council because I'm the only candidate with construction experience. As a commercial driver in your area, I can see Big G redeveloping. Okay, I-90, 271, plans to remove Dead Man's Curve on I-90. For the last 8 years, I've participated in some of the jobs that certain candidates describe as not setting the tone or no developing, basically. And I've done plenty of jobs. Miles, for instance. I participated in that job resurfacing. I've demolished various homes in Ward 2. So it's not necessarily a dead zone, okay? There are people that are very interested in Ward 2. There's also a medical center, Neon, no one speaks about it, Neon Health Center. There's a pharmacy. There is a grocery store. There's plans for banks. Okay, there's a lot of things going on in Ward 2 that very rarely candidates speak about because they're not part of the jobs. They don't work the jobs. They don't have the experience to see development in the area.